Right, so I'm going to do, on this side, I'm going to do like Hollywood, I'm going to do beach waves on this side because there's more hair. And then this side, I'm going to do a bit more of a glamorous. Now, one thing I would say is make sure that you practice when your straighteners are cold. Because if you practice when your straighteners are hot, you're actually going to cause a lot of damage to your hair. So please don't do that. Please practice the hand movements, and it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like something you should be doing when you're curling, and you need to learn to use both hands. So tonight you need some clips, and it doesn't really matter what clips you use. You can use these, I use bungees. On my own hair, when I'm doing your hair as a stylist, I will be using clips like this because it makes my life easier. But when you're doing your own hair, as long as the hair's out of the way, you're using clean sectioning, that's the main thing. So I'm going to use clips like this, you can use ones like this, and you can use these. Right, brushes, I use lots of different types of brushes, and I'll explain what they do and how they work. So these are just a few of my favourites, and I use different types of brushes to help create different kind of looks when I'm dressing out afterwards. Then I am also going to use heat protection. Heat protection, ladies, always prevent the damage rather than trying to cure it once you've damaged it, okay? Your hair is like fabric. Think of it like a silk shirt. If you bought a really expensive silk shirt and then it said on the label, only wash at 30 degrees or only dry clean, and you just chucked it in a normal economy wash with everything else, and then the shirt came out ruined, you wouldn't be surprised because the care instructions said wash at this or send it to the dry cleaners, and you didn't follow them instructions. So make sure you think of your hair like a really expensive silk shirt, so you have to really look after it as well, especially if you're blonde like myself. Then you need to take lots of extra precaution on your hair. So heat protection, I've actually put one on before, and I'm also going to put this one on. So this is Retain in Eufora. I am a massive Eufora fan. I love them because I know there's no nasties in there. And I like to know that what I'm putting on my hair is going to be good for my hair. This is my favourite one because it's a dry and wet heat protection. So you can spray it onto your damp hair, and if you forget, you can spritz it onto dry hair as well. So I'm going to be using that as heat protection. And this protects your hair up to 240 degrees, which that's how hot your straighteners go. And just so you know how hot that is the equivalent to Highland Gas Mark 9. And I think when you think how hot that oven is, that's how hot the straighteners are, okay? If you don't put heat protection on, it is the equivalent of laying in the sun for 6 hours on holiday with no sun cream on, and then getting back to your room and being shocked that you've got sunburn. Well, especially for me. But that's kind of the concept. We're putting extreme heat onto our hair. If you've got no protection on there, you are going to cause damage. Then I'm also going to use different types. So I've got sea sprays, I've got my sea spritz here, I've got a gloss spray, these are more finishing products. I've got Full Effect, which is like a texture spray. So think of it like an aerosol, like you see it's a bit misty, like an aerosol wax type spray as well. And then, just drop one. That was details. We don't need that one today, obviously. Right, so I'm also going to talk about dry shampoos. I don't know about you, but I love a dry shampoo, but quite often we don't know how to actually apply them. So I'm going to start with dry shampoo, put some heat protection on, and then we get cracking. So dry shampoo, don't just go like this, okay? You need to give it a good old shake up, hold it away, and spritz through, and then you need to actually shampoo it into the hair. It's a dry shampoo, you still got to shampoo it in. Lift the hair up and give it a good old spray through. So I'm using After Pillow. So give it a good spray through. And with these products, and I just do around that top area, unless you're tying your hair up. If I was doing like a sleek top knot, then I'd probably spray underneath as well, but I'm not going to. And I washed my hair today, so I'm just sort of showing you. Once we've got a dry shampoo in, give your hair a good massage like you would shampoo. So like you're shampooing your hair, work that through, okay? If you spray too much and you end up like powdery white, because that does happen. I mean, with this product, we don't tend to get that, so, roots. So you're not gonna get that, but if you do, put your hair dry on the cold setting and just blast out the excess. Don't just brush it, but yeah, if it's a good dry shampoo, it should just blow dry away. Right, then, so I'm gonna go in with Retain, give it a little shake up, And then we're going to work this all the way through. Lift the hair up, spray all the way through. I mean, you can spray every section, but I like to get all the prep work in first. Get that in. Then, this is where I love this type of brush because it has the natural boar bristles in there as well as the plastic ones. Then we can just brush this through. So I like to section my hair first when I'm doing my own hair. And if you're my client, you'll know that sometimes I do that in your blow dry. If you've got really thick, chunky hair, I will pre-section your hair when I'm blow drying as well. And so what that means is I just take this top section here and we just section that out, and I take a bit of the back there, and then we're just going to not lose my parting. And I work with a side parting, but I mean work to wherever your parting is. And then I'm going to go up this side, and I take about 1.5 inch sections. If your hair's super thick, then take it down to go down to like 1 inch. And if you've got like mental thick hair, like a horse's tail, then go down to like 3/4 inch. But yeah, pre-section your hair, especially when you're blow drying. It is going to save you so much time. So much time. So how I do mine is I go here, sort of 1 inch either side of my parting. Then I usually go to sort of my temples. So I will have slightly more on this side. So I go to my temples and go all the way around. Then I go to the top of my ears and I go round. So I have these. You can see there's a little blue light there. Can you see that? So that means that these are on 165 degrees. You heard me right. 165 degrees. I don't have them on 200. My hair is like a silk expensive shirt, so we don't want to create loads of damage. Now, oh, they've just turned off. So what I'm going to do is this side's going to be our wave. Okay, so I'm going to have the straighteners down, and I'm going to rotate them, almost all the way around. Then I pull down. Think of like when you're doing a ribbon. You know when you do ribbon for presents and you go all the way across, and you kind of do it with the scissors, and you kind of go like that. And that's what we're going to do with the hair, okay? And then you're going to leave the ends. And that's the hardest part with this type of curl, is you get to the ends and you want to go straight through, but I'm going to drop it, okay? So let's get in and show you. So I come down like this, I hold the bottom of the straighteners, I rotate round, and I put it down, and I actually drop it. Then I pick that section up, and I just rotate it around my fingers, and leave it. Even if it comes out wrong, leave it. Let the hair cool down, because if you go over and over and over a curl with straighteners, they are programmed to flatten the hair, and that's what will happen. So if you've gone over and over and it's come out wrong, and you do it again and you go, oh, it's getting worse, it's because you're actually straightening the hair now. The hair's hot, it's retaining that heat, you're not letting it cool down. When it cools down, it's like it resets again, okay? So I'm going to take another section here. Now, a tip that I learnt from one of my friends. So you see I go down and I twist it all the way around, then I pull and I drop. If you've got really long hair, I had a friend of mine when I was in Ibiza a few years ago, and I love watching non-hairdressers do hair because you think of hair in a different way. She's got super long hair, and she put on this, I remember it's a Bubble Gump t-shirt, and I was like, we're going out, mate, what are you doing? And she puts it on because her hair's so long, she gets lost on what section she's done and what she hasn't. So she actually tucks her hair inside the t-shirt. So once she's curled it, like my hair's too short, but once she's curled it, she actually tucks the hair inside the t-shirt so that she knows when she takes her neck section down that the hair on top of that t-shirt she hasn't curled yet. What a fantastic idea. I was like mind blown, but that's for you super long hair girls, when your hair's sort of like down to here. But what I tend to do is I just tend to tilt my head like that, and as you see, as I get higher up the hair, you'll see that I can just sort that, and you'll see the straighter bits because they'll be slightly longer. So my elbow comes over the top, and I kind of come from the back here because this is the back section. And remember, I'm only on 165 degrees. So I caught that one there, but can you see the ends, if I go up, they're a little bit straighter, and that's what I want. Okay, so this side is our beach wave. Okay? If your straighteners are going like that. I don't know why I did that noise, but they're sort of gripping to the hair. You either need a new pair of straighteners because the ceramic is worn off and it's gripping the hair and you're not getting that smoothness through, or they're covered in product, so you've got hairspray on there. Please don't, ladies, hairspray your hair first and then go through the straighteners. It literally makes me go, I just don't. On to my next section, and you see, because I pre-sectioned, bosh, I don't even have to worry about that. Put the clip out the way. So, just to remind you, this side is our beach wave. Now, I'm gonna work from the back this time. As I get higher, I tend to work from the back. It's just a habit of mine. I find it easier, because at least then I know that's done. And I just find it easier, I don't miss any. Now, I clamp down. So you see I stroked through the hair. I rotate all the way around. Now I pull to that end and drop. Don't go to that end, you want to leave that end straight. So you see I'm sort of going like this, and I sort of pick the bottom because I know underneath is slightly shorter because I've curled that. And then I'm going to take the next section, comb through. Also, I'm a hairdresser, I'm going into hairdresser mode. Put the straighteners down, comb through. And then I'm going to go down. If you have any questions, I've seen quite a lot of my team members on, so they will help you with questions. So you can see now I'm getting longer. That straight edge there, you want that. Okay, if you're trying to create the beach wave, that's what you want. You want that straight edge. Now I'm going to take a slightly bigger section here. Sometimes I leave it out right to the end. So I go round, pull to the end, and then I drop. Like this. And I think there's one more piece just there. There it is. But can you see, because it's that little bit, it's just fractionally longer, so I can just literally pinch the ends and grab that. Twist round and pull through to the ends, drop, twist. Look how quick I'm smashing through this. Honestly, pre-sectioning when you blow dry, pre-section when you curl, pre-section when you straighten. Honestly, revolutionise your life, I promise. Right, so we clamp over the top, I twist round. That's the hardest part where people go wrong, is you clamp, you rotate, and you're not rotating enough. Or you let go. Oh, I think I've just turned them up. No, go down. There we go. If you're practice when your straighteners are off, just doing this. That's what a lot of people are on. So I clamp, I turn as far as my wrist will. It doesn't matter what way, whether you go forward, and then learn to grab this, okay? Because a mirror lies to you, okay? The mirror is back to front. So just practice doing that both ways. Because whenever I'm curling around the front of my face, I always curl away. So it means that side I've got to rotate back. This way I've got to rotate that way. Or if I'm going up, I'll rotate that way. Okay? Just a personal preference. You can, and I prefer that face framing look. Think for Victoria's Secret, you know, when they walk down the catwalk and their hair's blowing back. So we clamp. You see now, I actually kind of keep hold of the hair. That's just a habit of mine. You don't need to do that. Then I pull down to the ends, and then I drop, catch my hands. And now this is longer. You can see you're creating a looser, softer curl. Now, if you've got longer hair, you would just keep pulling all the way to the end of your hair. The technique is exactly the same, whether you've got a bob, whether you've got hair down to your waist. Now, the only difference would be hair down to your waist, and Kirby's on here, she'll tell you that it's a lot more weight to the hair. So you can't expect the same bounce that I get in my hair to be in the same bounce if your hair's down to your hips, because that's an extra weight on the end of the hair, so it's going to be a lot harder to create that lift because there's just so much in there. Okay, so you can start to see it all coming together now, but leave them in these curls. Last section, look at that last section, and we're about 25 minutes, but I have been waffling. Let's get your parting in the right place. I pick up the hair. Let's have a little look. I'm going to start here with this section, comb through. And so you can see at the beginning of this video I said practice with the straighteners off. So turn these off, put them in, just to make sure you're getting the right position, you're getting the right, and then you can go over that section over, and you're not creating any damage on the hair, just while you get it right. Now, Little tip for you, if you've got really long hair and you want your curls to start down here, you want to kind of smooth, and then what I would actually do, if I had, well, when I had really long hair and I wanted the curls to start more at the bottom, I would actually straighten just that little bit there, just really gently like that. And then I would then go in and straighten down, curl down. But where these go in and you start turning, that's where the curl is. So if you find when you're curling, your curls start lower, it's because you're turning too late. And I'll show you what that looks like. So if you're curling too late, let's say you go in like that, do you see how much lower they are? And if that's what you want, perfect. But if you go, oh, I can't ever get them to start like up here, especially underneath, you're turning too late. And a lot of people as well, if you're getting straight hair, I'll go over this bit again because I didn't really do that bit. Let me just dry it, or cool it I should say. There we go. Lovely. So let's say when you get it a bit square, you've sort of gone like that, and you've got that. Can you see that? That's what happens. You've sort of gone a bit like this. So you're left side, depends. I'm left-handed, so this is actually my right side. But yeah, if you're right-handed and you're more comfortable with that, then yeah, I could do it that way, but it's just not a natural way for me to do that. But yeah, I always go over my head. You can go under, I'll show you what that looks like. So you can come up and go like this, but it does create a different curl because you're coming from a different angle. Can you see? So think about when you've played around, you've done a few different techniques, then you're going to create the different looks. I want to make sure I'm getting that kind of softer wave ribbon effect, and I know when I come up and under, the curl's a lot softer and it just sort of starts a bit lower, and that's not what I want. So how we correct this is really difficult because you've burnt that into the hair, that's there. So it is a difficult thing to correct. So what I would say, let the hair cool down. Let it cool down, let it completely go back to normal. The reason I'm sort of holding it and shaking it is trying to let the air get to it, let it cool down. Just like cooling baby's food, we're cooling the hair. Lovely, now it's nice and cool. Brush my fingers through. And I'm gonna come from here and I'm just gonna rotate nice and gently, nice and evenly. Okay, the reason it went was because my technique was very jilted. If you're going like that, like that, like that, you're gonna get curls that are like that. So you need to create a nice, soft, fluid motion, okay? So I'm gonna go back over this section here. Remember, I'm only on 165 degrees. So I'm not scorching the hair, and I've got a heat protection on there, protects my hair up to 240 degrees. So I know I can go over the hair a couple times. I'm not giving you a free pass to curl your hair like this every single day, over and over again. I mean, if you do, just make sure that you are using treatments and you are replenishing. Your hair condition is like a diet. Whatever you put in is whatever you're gonna get out. So if you wanna straighten your hair and you wanna put your hair through the ringer, you need to put in double time. You need to put in treatments weekly. You need to have color mending infusion treatments in the salon. You need to make sure that you are using really good quality shampoos, conditioners, things like that. My biggest tip, if you are going to wash your hair and do it the same day and you're going to blow dry it, so say you're going to have a shower at night, wash your hair, blow dry, then you curl your hair and the curls drop really quickly. It's quite often because your hair's not dry. Your hair has to be bone dry. My biggest recommendation would be to dry your hair first, then do your makeup, then feel your hair. Give it a good feel like this, and if it feels cold, you know, you just feel it, and sometimes you blow dry it and you feel it, you go, oh, it's still a bit cold. It's probably because it's still wet. So give your hair a good blast through. I always say blast it through, when you think your hair's dry, keep going for another 3 minutes. Okay, keep blasting it through, tip it upside down, blow dry it, try and get it as absolutely dry as possible. Because we need to be completely dry, because as soon as you go through the straighteners, if it's wet, it's just gonna drop really quickly. You'll get that curl and then within 2 minutes it would have just dropped, and that's one of the biggest reasons curls drop, is because hair is not dry. It must be dry. And the second reason it needs to be dry, you are going to be frying your hair. If there's water in your hair and you're putting 240 degrees, that is me boiling inside your hair. That water will boil in your hair and you will have steam coming out. Did you see there wasn't a lot of steam coming out from my hair? If you're doing your hair and there's loads of steam coming out, that is actually like protein and moisture jumping ship. It's because your hair is too hot, it's too much for your hair, there's no heat protection, there is actual moisture from the inside of your hair jumping out. It's going, no, I don't want to be here, I'm scorching. So make sure your hair is dry, you have heat protections, and you treat your hair. As a rule of thumb, temperature-wise, if you've got fine blonde hair, I would say anywhere from 160, if you can change it to say 175. If you've got slightly thicker hair, that's a bit thicker, I would just say a little bit darker, maybe highlighted, so you've got some natural hair in there, then maybe go from 175 to like 185. And then if you've got really, really thick hair, and I'm talking like afro, thick, major hair, think about your texture. Is your texture thick or is your texture fine but you've got loads of it? Then you can start going the top end. But I would say generally on normal Caucasian hair, then I would say anywhere from 160 up to like 190 maximum, as long as you've got really good heat protection on there. But you know how your hair feels, but perfect. Right, so on this side, how we're going to dress it out. There's two ways you can dress out. My favourite technique is the ruffle technique. So I would normally get you to tilt your head back and we would just shake it. So I'm just going to show you this side. So I just shake it. I'm not running my fingers through. We haven't got loads of curls this side. But you could tilt your head back, you can tilt it forward. I get a nice shake on that. Okay, then try not to brush under and out like this. Try not to do that, because you can see, I mean, if that's the look you want, fantastic. We call it zhuzhing, like a little zhuzh, zhuzh, and like that, if that's, you want that fullness and you want that texture, fabulous, that is massive. If you want that volume, perfect. But if you don't, and you want something a bit more, what I call like the Instagram curls, again, the Victoria's Secrets curls, brush down, but as I brush, I shake my hand down like this. So we just shook it down like this. We just shake down like that. If you want to zhuzh it up, then come up and under like that. But I don't want to do that. So I'm just shaking it down. I use my fingers like this. So I just pull it apart. You see I'm starting to get them waves now. And we just pull it apart like this, shake it, give my hair a little ruffle. Like this. So here I want to create a bit more texture. Now, if I wanted to create more of a, not such a textured finish, use my big brush like this. I love this big vent style brush, or like a big fat comb. You don't have them big fat combs, and just give your hair a nice brush through, but it's controlled. You see I'm using my hands to control it, and it gives you much more of a controlled wave, and I feel like it gives you a bit more shine. So you can see that difference in them curls. Oh, I've got a little bit of the Hollywood there. You see that difference? That's a lot more of a softer, more glam beach wave, okay? Now, if you want to texturize it up, go back in with that first technique. Shake it up. Okay, see I've just separated that out. Now, finishing. Don't just go, oh, done, go out. I would use a few different things. I love a sea spray. I love full effect. I use this when I have my hair in a bob, when I blow dry it normal, and I'm going to use this today. So full effect is a dry texturizing spray. So think of it as like a hairspray and a wax. If they had a baby, it would be full effect, okay? We're going to spray up, now not down, okay? We're going to spray up and in, so you're going to see that I'm going to go, let me come back a bit. So you can see, I'm going to come, and I shake at the same time. And I want a bit more fullness. Let me just have a look. Get my little patty face on. Like this. You see, just get a bit more texture. Again, if it's too much, then just really gently brush down. But can you see having that straight edge? It gives you that beach effect. And you'll see the difference when I do the other side. So, I'm just going to lift that up because I actually like a bit more fullness there. I am my mother's daughter, and I should have been born in the 80s, I feel. There we go, I love that little bit of a lift there. And all I did was I just pull my hands in, and I just pull it up like this, like that. Right, I'm gonna leave that side now. Also, when you're doing hair, so the lady who used to own this salon, her name's Barbara, and she's like my hair idol, and she always said to me, when you're doing hair, dressing hair out, we call this dressing out hair, that's hairdresser term, and it's like styling the hair afterwards. It's like decorating a cake. You know, sometimes when you think, I should stop there, but I just want to do that bit there, and I just stop and come back to it, and trust me, you'll appreciate it. Don't just stop yourself, because otherwise we'll keep fiddling, and you think, oh, I should have stopped about 5 minutes ago. So at that point, when you think, oh, I should just do this, and even if there's bits that are bothering you, leave it, go do something else, put your clothes on for a night out, get ready, put your jewellery on, and then have another look, and then have a little play around. So I'm going to leave that for now, because I'm going to keep playing with it otherwise, and then it'll get annoying and I won't like it. So can you see how these different curls create different looks through? Let me just check in my mirror. Yeah, you can see this is a bit of Barbara Ellis. This is right up her alley. Right, so we have our glam. This is my personal fave, and this is what I would say is like you're going to barbecue or going out somewhere with your friends, whereas this is a bit more high glam. So these are the two different techniques. Lovely. There's my two different looks. What's that bit there doing? That's my fringe, I think. Just twist that in. There we go. Lovely. So you can see two different looks. It's giving me a lot shorter here. So you can see I've lost a lot. So if you think, oh my gosh, always I lose loads of length, that's your problem, you're curling too much. If you feel like you're not getting that beach wave, you're probably curling too much. Or if you think, oh, I never get that nice spring to it, I never get that real bouncy effect, you're not curling enough. So thank you very much for tuning in with me tonight. Any other questions, feel free to comment or message us privately if you don't want to ask on the chat now, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Take care, bye.